Hi, my name is Norm Pegram. I'm the owner of Premier International Mailing Systems. You're in my lobby at this particular moment. From here, I'm going to give you a little tour of my operations here, and I have two buildings. This is our main plant for mail production and computer services. Another building that we'll see shortly is across the street, which handles my fulfillment and printing operations. I started this company back in 1980. In 81 I incorporated. I started initially as a list company. Anything you get a trail says resident, well, that's probably my list. I started that list, compiled it, and used it for mailings for the retailers to target their locations and do mailings to. And I sold the labels back then to other mailing services here in town until I started my own operations. Recently, I have acquired a company that has a long history in the mailing business here in Houston. That name of that company was the Premier Company, and it was started by a guy named Luke Kaiser. You can see some of the pictures here on the wall. Now that we've kind of all gotten together, we have a complete direct marketing multi-service provider so that we can do everything from the creation of a mail piece to the printing of the mail piece to the list work that supports it, and finally the mail production to get it out the door. What we have here is our graphics and art department. Now, a lot of our clients come in with handwritten documents, and perhaps they have an email, a picture of something they want to use in a mail piece. But it all starts with an idea from the client that we then turn into a real live piece. Now, once the art's been approved by the customer, we have a digital machine that digitally creates the plates that go out to the press. This one is creating plates that will go to the big presses out here. We have another world of digital printing, which is direct from the computer to the printing operations, and you'll see that shortly. Everything begins on a press by the loading of the materials. What he does is he takes the large sheets. We've already printed one side, now we're coming in to print another side with some more colors on it on the back side of the piece. So what happens is here is you can see the large stack of paper getting ready to feed through this 4-color printing press. Basically what it is as the image passes through, there are 4 cylinders here that use the primary colors plus black to create the images that you see when you come off of a printed piece here. This is called offset printing, where the paper and the plate meets a rubber plate, which then meets the paper, hence offset, where it offsets the ink onto the paper. There's a dot pattern that, when you actually look at this, is like a Monet painting. Up close with a magnifying glass, you'll see just nothing but dots. But that dot pattern, as you pull away from it, blends together to create the colors. Well, in this case, it's done with microscopic dots. Anyway, as the piece comes out, we see the sheets over here that the operators then begin to make sure colors are matching, that the registration is clean so that you get a really high quality mail piece. But we also have smaller presses that do smaller jobs for just doing small pads, envelopes, even business cards. So there's all different kinds of uses of presses for different types of programs. We have 2 large 4-color presses that do the longer runs. We have a very large 2-color press, but most of the world revolves around short runs. So we have several small presses that do envelopes, and the letterhead is a predominant part of mailing. Out here in this warehouse, we have 1,200 bins that hold those materials for our use when the project comes up to produce. We have a lot of clients. What they do is that they essentially will print up a volume of materials ahead of time because they get a better cost per unit to print that in volume. But when you get involved in mailings, then you only pay the postage as you mail. We have about 20 full-time large fulfillment customers that we print the materials, or they supply the materials that we warehouse in this facility to be more efficient here. As you know, square footage costs money to maintain. So to keep the cost down for the client, we've developed a way we can do more compact storage to reduce their cost of storage. Over here you see a big device called a cutter. It takes the product here, and this big machine here will cut it down to the smaller size that we'll use for production Like in our printing department, we also have a bindery department. In this case, it's the folding of the laser letters that come out of the computer room and or brochures that clients send in. But what he's doing right now is he's lining it up to make sure it hits that window exactly when we take it over to the inserting equipment across the building. We also have devices that stitch booklets. We will take this product here and put these little stitches in it. The material is collated, placed on the stitcher, and 2 stitches are put into the product. We'll take it to that cutter you saw out there, trim off the edge so that it's one complete book. Now, one of the things that we do here in this particular company is that we provide a full range of list services. Clients indicate to us where they want it to mail. In this area are list analysts. They will take that data, convert it to a standardized record layout that we can match against the Postal Service's national change of address, which is step 1, which is required for all mailings that want a pre-sort discount rate. Now, this particular area is our digital department. We have 4-color and single-color lasers in this area that does that kind of production. On this machine, it will literally print the product and address it and pre-sort it all in one pass. This area here is our support area for the customer service reps that handle and help monitor the flow from the printing department, from the computer department, to the mail department, everything to get it coordinated to make sure it gets out for you, the customer, with the right quality presentation that will make you a success. This is our manufacturing area for the mail production out here. We have different kinds of machinery to do different steps in the production process. In this particular project here, we're doing an envelope. Now what you can see here is the raw product comes into one end, passes underneath the inkjet heads, to apply onto it, name and address, but also the barcode, which is a critical aspect of the sortation to get clients their discount. Over here we have another kind of inkjet. As you can see, he fills the hopper just like the other one, only this is a much bigger product. So it's spraying the name and address and the barcode again onto the piece, so it's also pre-sorted down to the way the postman actually walks down the street. This step here not only saves the client postage, but a lot of time just in the sequence of events to get the mail out to the individual houses. We have one over here that is for cards. The operator here again takes the data from the computer, loads it into the hopper. This is a specialized inkjet head that does high speed, also for the name and address as well as the barcode. This machine here can run on the longer runs up to 30,000 pieces an hour. All material that passes through the postal system's sorting devices have to be sealed. In this case, they're called wafer seals. This allows us to get the discounted rate for the client. Now, in this area, what we do over here is we have a lot of work that we process can't be done by machine due to the nature of the design. It may be what we call a high-impact mail piece, which isn't necessarily machinable. For instance, rolling up a poster to put in a tube or gluing a poker chip onto a card for a casino to mail out as an invitation. As you can see here, we have some of that product being folded now. We have several folders. Some are for letter-sized pieces. Some are for larger pieces, depending on the product we're doing. This is an inserter. We'll pre-address an envelope, but then we can insert mechanically the objects that go into it. Our statement clerks here will prepare the actual postal form to be used on the mailing. Each individual mailing can actually qualify for up to 8 different postal rate categories. Then we fine sort down to get the best postage category. That way everybody, all of our clients then save money, and theoretically in smaller volumes even, enough money is saved on the postal discounts to pay for all the production that you've seen. Now what you're seeing here is after the mail's been processed in the plant, we bring it out here to stage the mail for distribution. That is, we prepare the mail here, and then we ship it to the point where the post office will actually do the delivery. In the afternoons from noon to 6, we have postal workers who come out from the downtown post office to clear the mail here. This speeds up the processing for our clients and also efficiently for the post office to distribute the mail. In this area, we'll do several, maybe weeks worth of mailing for a client. That is, we'll process it, but set it up into weekly drops that we can then just easily drop onto the scale here to get the mail out. I hope you've enjoyed your tour and you use all of our capabilities and any kind of direct marketing program you may have here at Premier IMS.